You're taking us on quite the journey this time, deep into the world of 19th century Sikh history
Yeah.
with Hari Singh Nalwa.
Right.
From what I've gathered, this isn't just another name in a textbook. We're talking about a figure whose reputation, for better or worse, seems to precede him.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, he's a prominent figure in Sikh history, a really key player during the reign of Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Okay.
But I think more than that, he embodies this fascinating blend of military prowess, administrative skill,
Right.
and a legacy that continues to be debated even today.
And that's what makes this deep dive so intriguing, right?
Yeah.
Uncovering those layers.
It's
It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
I read that Afghan mothers used to quiet their children by invoking his name.
Right.
Was he truly that fearsome?
It's a testament to the power of his legend. To understand why his name held such weight, we need to go back to his beginnings in 1791 in Gujranwala, now part of Pakistan.
Okay.
Even his family background, belonging to the Upakhatri clan, offers a glimpse into the social environment and the values that likely shaped him.
So he wasn't just some, random kid who stumbled onto a battlefield.
Right.
But how does a Hari Singh become Hari Singh Nalwa?
Right.
I'm sensing a good origin story here.
Oh, there definitely is.
Okay.
Picture this. A young Hari Singh, barely out of his teens, on a hunt with Maharaja Ranjit Singh himself.
Okay.
Suddenly, a lion appears.
Oh.
And it's not just observing the scenery.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Not the ideal hunting party surprise.
Indeed. Caught off guard and crucially unarmed,
Oh.
Hari Singh found himself facing a formidable opponent.
Right.
This wasn't a moment for hesitation.
Wow.
In a display of remarkable strength and quick thinking, he wrestles the lion, gets a grip on its jaw, flings it aside, and delivers a single fatal blow.
Wow. This is where the legend begins, isn't it? I can see how this encounter becomes more than just an anecdote.
Precisely. This event earned him the title Nalwa, a comparison to a legendary king known for his skill in hunting lions with his bare hands. But it's more than the title. It's the qualities it represents.
Okay.
Courage under pressure, decisive action, and a touch of the superhuman that would come to define his image.
Right.
And you're right, it's not just an isolated incident. It foreshadows a pattern we'll see throughout his life, particularly in his military career.
So this young man, shaped by his upbringing and now bearing this powerful title, steps onto the stage of history.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those battlefields.
Okay.
We're talking over 20 campaigns.
Yes. That's right, over 20.
This was a career defined by conflict.
And these weren't mere skirmishes.
Right.
These were pivotal battles that would shape the very map of the Sikh Empire.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you highlight the sheer number of campaigns because it demonstrates a crucial aspect of Nalwa's role.
Right.
He was a constant presence on the frontier,
Okay.
expanding the empire's reach and securing its borders.
And he starts early.
He does.
The Battle of Sialkot in 1808 at just 17 years old.
17 years old, yeah.
Leading the Sikh forces to victory.
That's right.
That's impressive to say the least.
It is.
It speaks to a level of leadership that goes beyond just bravery.
Indeed. Sialkot is just the beginning.
Okay.
Take the hard-fought Battle of Multan in 1818.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brutal affair, and Nalwa himself was severely wounded.
Oh, wow.
Even burned by a projectile launched from the fort.
Goodness.
Yet he recovered and played a crucial role in the final capture of the city, showcasing a tenacity that went hand in hand with his strategic brilliance.
So we're seeing both sides of the coin, this almost reckless bravery combined with a calculated approach to warfare. What I'm gathering here is that this wasn't just personal ambition driving him.
Yeah.
It was about something bigger.
Right.
About securing the frontiers of a growing empire.
Exactly. And this strategic thinking is never more evident than in the Battle of Attock in 1813.
Okay.
Controlling a critical crossing point on the Indus River, Attock Fort was more than just a military target. It was a choke point for supplies and movement.
Right.
By capturing it, Nalwa displayed an understanding of the bigger picture, securing a vital artery for Sikh expansion and choking off enemy supply lines.
It almost sounds like he was playing chess while others were playing checkers.
Right.
But before we delve further into these battlefields, it's important to remember that Nalwa's story isn't just one of conquest.
Right.
It's also a story of governance.
Yes.
Of establishing order in the wake of these victories. And that's where we'll see a different side of this complex figure emerge.
Absolutely. That's a crucial point.
Right.
Nalwa's story isn't just about, expanding borders. It's
Yeah.
about what he did with those newly acquired territories.
Right.
And his role as an administrator, particularly in regions like Hazara,
Right.
reveals a different facet of his personality.
Okay, so from battlefield commander to governor, what did this transition look like for Hari Singh Nalwa?
Right.
We're talking about a man accustomed to decisive action, leading armies.
Yeah.
How does that translate to the art of governance?
It's a fascinating shift.
Yeah.
After his campaigns in Kashmir, which, as we'll discuss, had their own complexities,
Okay.
he was appointed governor of Greater Hazara in 1822.
Okay.
Now, this wasn't some peaceful backwater.
Right.
Hazara was a volatile region, a mix of different tribes
Yeah.
with a history of unrest.
Right.
It required a firm hand,
Okay.
a strategic mind,
Right.
and perhaps even a bit of a builder's vision.
So how did those qualities that served him so well on the battlefield
Right.
play out in the administrative arena?
Mm-hmm.
Did he rule with an iron fist, or is there more nuance to his approach?
While he was undoubtedly a strict and decisive leader,
Okay.
his approach in Hazara went beyond mere force.
Okay.
He seemed to understand that true control stemmed not just from military might, but from establishing order and fostering a sense of stability, something that region desperately needed.
So what were the tools of this different kind of campaign? A campaign for stability and order.
Yeah.
I'm imagining less about battle plans
Right.
and more about infrastructure and long-term vision.
Precisely.
Okay.
We see him focusing on infrastructure projects, forts, roads, even establishing new towns like Haripur, which still stands today,
Wow.
as a testament to his vision.
Okay.
And then there's Harkishingar Fort,
Mm-hmm.
a true marvel of military engineering. For its time,
Okay.
strategically located, heavily fortified.
Right.
It became a symbol of his authority,
Oh.
but it was also about securing trade routes
Right.
and creating a safe environment for economic growth.
It sounds like he understood that true power wasn't just about winning battles, but about building something that would last.
Yes.
Something that would
True.
transform these conquered lands into a part of a larger, more stable empire.
Exactly. But as we delve deeper into his administrative career,
Right.
we encounter a situation that challenges this narrative of the strategic builder,
Okay.
the bringer of order. His time in Kashmir presents a more complicated picture.
This is where the story takes a turn, isn't it?
It does.
We've talked about the lion encounter, the battlefield victories,
Yeah.
the impressive infrastructure projects.
Mhm.
But what happened in Kashmir?
Here, the historical accounts, particularly from Muslim and British perspectives,
Right.
offer a different perspective.
Okay.
They highlight actions seen as oppressive,
Okay.
such as anti-Muslim laws,
Right.
restrictions on religious practices,
Right.
and heavy taxation that disproportionately affected the Muslim population.
Okay.
It raises questions about his methods and motivations in a region where religious and cultural dynamics were vastly different from Hazara.
It's a stark contrast to what we've discussed so far.
Right.
How do we reconcile these accounts
Right.
with the image of Nalwa as a just and efficient administrator?
It's a complex question,
Right.
and it's essential to approach these historical narratives with nuance.
Right.
We have to consider the biases inherent in these accounts.
Yeah.
The political agendas that might be at play.
Right.
Were these actions truly driven by religious persecution,
Hmm.
or were they part of a larger strategy to consolidate power in a newly conquered territory
Right.
with a history of instability?
It's a good reminder that history is rarely black and white.
Mm-hmm.
There are always multiple perspectives,
Yes,
different interpretations of events.
precisely.
Yeah.
Some scholars argue that certain policies, while appearing to target Muslims specifically,
Oh, yeah.
were actually aimed at appeasing the Hindu population who had faced their own share of hardship under previous Afghan rule.
It's interesting.
They had appealed to the Sikhs for protection,
Good.
adding another layer of complexity to the situation.
So we have this tangle of motivations, consolidating power, maintaining stability, navigating religious tensions. It paints a very different picture of Nalwa's time in Kashmir
Right.
compared to his successes in Hazara.
Right.
But even with these controversies, there's a curious detail that stands out. The Hari Singhis.
Right.
These were coins, right?
Yes, coins.
What's the story there?
Minted in Kashmir that continued to bear his name
Wow.
even after his departure.
Wow.
And even after his death.
Wow.
It raises fascinating questions.
Right.
Was this a sign of respect for his rule despite the controversies?
Right.
Or was it a more pragmatic move by his successors to maintain a sense of continuity
Right.
and avoid further unrest?
it speaks to the ambiguity of his legacy, doesn't it?
It does.
Even in death, his presence, his influence lingered.
Yeah.
It seems we're left with more questions than answers when it comes to Hari Singh Nalwa's time in Kashmir.
Yeah.
But perhaps that's part of what makes his story so captivating.
Right.
It challenges us to grapple with the complexities of history, to avoid easy answers,
Right.
and to acknowledge that even the most influential figures are often a mix of contradictions.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that leadership, especially in such a tumultuous period, is a balancing act. We've seen the conqueror, the builder, the administrator, all intertwined with this air of controversy. But all stories, even those steeped in legend, eventually reach their final chapter.
Right.
What brought about the end for Hari Singh Nalwa?
In a twist that somewhat mirrors the beginnings of his legend.
Okay.
Hari Singh Nalwa met his end on the battlefield.
Wow.
In 1837, at the Battle of Jamrud, while fighting to secure the Khyber Pass, he was fatally wounded.
Jamrud, wasn't that one of the forts he had a hand in building?
It was, yeah.
As part of his strategy to secure the frontier?
It's a poignant end to a life so defined by conflict and expansion.
Right.
He'd been victorious in countless battles, had survived wounds that would felled lesser men, only to meet his fate in a skirmish that on the surface might have seemed less significant than others.
A reminder that history is full of these unexpected turns.
It is.
But his death, especially after such a storied career, must have sent ripples through the Sikh Empire. Did it mark a turning point, the beginning of a decline?
That's a question historians continue to debate.
Right.
Some argue that Nalwa's death created a void that couldn't be filled, that his aggressive expansionist policies, while successful under his command, became unsustainable without his leadership. Others maintain that the seeds of the empire's eventual decline were sown later, with internal conflicts and shifting alliances playing a more significant role.
So it's not as simple as saying Nalwa dies, the empire crumbles.
Right, exactly.
It's rarely that straightforward, is it?
It rarely is, no.
But even if his death wasn't the sole cause, I imagine the impact on morale on the Sikh psyche must have been profound. This is a man who'd become larger than life.
Absolutely. And remember that image of Afghan mothers using his name to quiet their children. It speaks volumes about the psychological grip he held on his adversaries. His very name had become synonymous with Sikh military might, with an almost mythical invincibility.
And what about Maharaja Ranjit Singh? They'd been through so much together, two sides of the same coin in a way. How did he react to the loss of his trusted general, his friend?
Their bond was legendary, forged in the heat of countless campaigns, and solidified through years of mutual respect and, dare I say, affection. Accounts describe Ranjit Singh, the Lion of the Punjab himself, overcome with grief at the news of Nalwa's death.
It speaks to a depth of connection that transcended the typical ruler-general dynamic.
It does. It does. And perhaps the most touching tribute comes in the form of a shawl commissioned by the Maharaja. It was a masterpiece of Kashmiri craftsmanship, woven with scenes depicting the victories against the Afghans. A visual tapestry of Nalwa's triumph.
A tapestry of victories. It's a powerful image, isn't it? To have your accomplishments immortalized in silk and thread. A testament to your legacy.
It speaks to the enduring nature of Hari Singh Nalwa's story.
Yeah.
He walked the line between history and legend.
Right.
His name whispered both in tales of battlefield valor and in hushed tones by mothers hoping to keep their children safe.
Right.
And isn't that the mark of a truly fascinating historical figure?
Yeah.
To have left such a deep imprint on the world?
Right.
That even centuries later, we're still trying to unravel the threads of their story,
Right.
separating fact from fiction,
Right.
grappling with the contradictions.
It's a reminder that history isn't just dates and names in a textbook. It's the story of people, complex and flawed individuals who shape the world around them.
That's right.
And sometimes those stories leave us with more questions than answers, which in many ways makes them all the more captivating.
Absolutely. Hari Singh Nalwa's story is a reminder to delve beyond the surface, to resist the urge to label figures as simply heroes or villains.
Right.
His life, filled with both triumphs and shadows,
Right.
compels us to confront the complexities of the past, to engage in nuanced discussions,
Yep.
and to remember that history is ultimately a tapestry woven from countless perspectives.
Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of Hari Singh Nalwa. It's been a fascinating journey.
It's been my pleasure. I'm so glad we could do this.